Look, man, if you got something that's been bothering you in your life, get past it. Don't lay there wallowing in your past, man. Your past is back there. You can't drive your car looking in the rearview mirror. If God wakes you up, it's a sign from God that he ain't through with you yet. As long as he got something for you, he keeps waking you up. Why don't you wake up to go see what that is?
You do not have enough strength to manage yesterday's pain. This is why you have arthritis and hypertension and sickness and affliction. You're aging before your time. This is why you got to take a pill to get to bed, a pill to get up in the morning. You are carrying too much. You're loaded down with your mama's problems, your sister's problems, your kids' problems, your friends' problems, problems of your job. You're carrying all of that, and you go over and over and over, and God said, let it go. Tell somebody, say, just let it go. You're carrying too much. You got too much weight on you. You're 40 years old, still upset about who didn't raise you, who wasn't there for you, what your mama said about you. She always liked your sister better than you. And you sit up there 50 years old, grieving over something that happened when you were 8. That's why your relationships are failing, because you have never divorced yourself.
So often, our mind is either in the past, focused on what didn't work out, mistakes we've made, or it's in the future, worried about our finances. What if my health doesn't improve? The problem with being in the past or being in the future is you will miss the present. Today is a gift from God. Are you fully engaged, loving your family, appreciating the simple things in life? Or are you in yesterday? The reason some relationships are not healthy is you came home from work, but you didn't really show up. Your mind was somewhere else. Or you went to the office, your body was there, but your mind was in yesterday, thinking about what you should have done better. If you're going to be fulfilled, you have to be there when you get there. Not show up and be in the past, live in regrets. Come into today. Yes, it's good to have goals, but you can't be so focused on what's next that you miss what you have right now. I know people that lost what they had going after what they wanted. You can miss who your spouse is, all the great things about them, because you're so consumed with your business, with how you're going to fix that problem. But the people in your life are not always going to be there. Don't take them for granted. When you're with your family, give them your time. Life goes so fast. At home, you're present. You eat dinner with the family, but are you connected? Enjoy where you are. Take time for the people God's given you. The problems will resolve in God's timing. Worrying about them doesn't make it work out any sooner. The people in your life can bring you great joy, great fulfillment. When you're present and connected, life is very rewarding. Are you taking time to laugh together, to do new things? How many people are in the house, but they're really not home? Sometimes the reason we're not connected, I realize it is the past. Past failures, what they said, how they treated us. As long as you're in the past, you'll stay disconnected. This is a new day. God's mercy is fresh every morning. Come into the present. Life is too short to hold on to hurts.
Let's suppose that there's a vast, hugely powerful force that nobody can withstand. And this immense force is always active and in furious motion. It never rests. It's like a slowly flowing river that can eventually carve the Grand Canyon out of solid rock. But that comparison doesn't really do it justice. The force I'm talking about is much more formidable than any river or ocean or glacier or any other natural phenomenon. Now, in trying to achieve your life's goals, would you prefer to fight against this great force? Would you want to struggle against this mighty power that has all the odds overwhelmingly in its favor? Or would you rather enlist this great power in your cause and make the inevitable work for you instead of against you? Take your time before answering. Think it over. By the way, time. is that great power I'm talking about. Time is the mightiest force in the world, or even in the universe. Of course, the answer to the question I posed is very obvious. Why would you ever choose to fight time when you could have time on your side? Who wouldn't want to harness the great river of time that flows through all of life? Why wouldn't you want to use the power of time to generate power in every area of your existence, to turn the turbines of your hopes and dreams, to charge your every aspiration with lightning bolts of electricity? Well, there is only one way to make time work for you, not against you, and that's with patience.
No matter who you're in relationship with, no matter how good of a person they are, at times they're going to disappoint you. Focus on their good qualities. Focus on the reasons you fell in love. When you were dating, that person could do no wrong. When Victoria and I were dating, I would go anywhere with her. She could have said, let's go see this electrical plant. I would have gone. It's not what we were doing, it's who I was doing it with. She had my full attention. Over time, life can happen. We face challenges, pressures at work. It's easy to let that press us down. We become sour. We don't enjoy our spouse anymore. We have a list of all the things they've done wrong. The easy way out is to disconnect. God didn't put that person in your life by accident. Don't wait till they're gone till you recognize what you had. Get plugged in. Don't hold grudges. You're a team. Make your partner better. Encourage them. Help them to reach their dreams. All the negative things in the news, it's easy to become sour, heavy. Keep that tension out of your home. Your home should be a place of peace, a place of joy. When your mind is in the past, you can't enjoy the present. When you're focused on the hurts, what they said, it's going to keep you from the beauty of this day.
There's a type of person for whom everything is undertaken out of desire to achieve a goal. They prepare food in order to eat it, not just for the fun of being in the kitchen. They start a business in order to make money. They exercise in order to get in shape. I am sure that some of these people are very successful, and they are certainly highly organized. But in my opinion, a person of truly strong character sees success as an adventure, not as a point with an estimated time of arrival. The latter approach to me is impatient thinking. Impatient thinking can lead a person into some very big mistakes. First of all, when you are always looking somewhere else, whether it's down the road or up toward the top of the mountain or off toward the left field fence, where you're hoping to hit that grand slam home run, when you're looking off in the distance like that, you often miss what's under your very own nose. That means the pleasure and fun of living which come in the here and now get overlooked for something that not only isn't here yet, but might never arrive. True patience is more than just a waiting game. Patience doesn't mean you sit around hoping for something to happen. Patience is not a passive quality. Sometimes patience can mean doing something else entirely, thinking about another venture, taking off in a different direction, while you give events a chance to run their course, where you can try anything you want in order to hurry things up, but things just aren't going to hurry. In fact, there's only one thing that will work, and that is patience. It's strange, but young people have a much more difficult time with patience than people who have more experience in the world. It seems like the older people get, the more able they are to wait, despite the fact that sometimes they have considerably less time to wait in. You could argue that older people ought to learn how to act quickly and decisively, while younger people need to learn how to wait. When you're young, you really have just about all the time in the world, and you just can't wait to use it. For a young person to have patience is a rare and powerful thing. How can we explain that impatience of the young? Maybe it's because when you're a teenager, or in your early 20s, 1 year seems like a very long time. 5 years seems like forever, and 10 years is almost more than you can possibly imagine. But more mature individuals can actually look back 10 or 20 or even 30 years, and they can use the knowledge they've gained to create patience and a sense of perspective. At the risk of confusing you, I'm going to make what may sound like a contradictory statement. Here it is. A patient man is always richer than an impatient one, even if the patient man has less money. What do I mean by that statement? Well, riches and wealth can take other forms besides dollars and cents. Okay, that sounds good. So in what sense is the patient man richer? The actual answer is very simple. A patient man is always richer than the impatient one because the patient man can always afford to wait. The patient man is never desperate. The patient man has time to spare, while the man in a hurry is always on the verge of bankruptcy as far as time is concerned. In any situation you can think of, impatience is a source of weakness and fear, while patience is substance and strength. And here's another way that patience gives the person who has it an incalculable advantage over the person who doesn't, and gives him deeper insight into himself and others, which is a mark of great character. If you can only see the short term, if you can only think in terms of the here and now, then you are like a man with one eye. You can't judge distances. You live in a world that's flat and two-dimensional. In other words, the impatient person lacks all sense of perspective. Perspective lets you measure your plans and current events against things that have already occurred, and also against your desires and aspirations for the future. Then and now, here and there, near and far, need and know, watch and wait. These are the dual optics that allow the patient man to see in stereo, where the nearsighted person sees only the present, or the dreamer sees only an imaginary future, and more likely than not, trips over his mistakes trying to get there. The history of this century can tell us a great deal about the value of patience and perspective. History proves that time is the strongest ally you can possibly have, no matter what the odds against you or the level of adversity you're facing. Time gives strength to those who have it on their side. The odd thing is, sometimes waiting for years is easier than it is to wait for a few days or even a few minutes. None of us felt too strained because we had to wait 12 years to go through grammar school, middle school, and high school before getting out, or at least the first 11 and a half years didn't strain my patience. But ask me to wait 45 minutes for a plane flight, or 20 minutes in the waiting room of a dentist's office, and if you catch me on the wrong day, it's almost more than I can handle. We all find ways to wait for the next paycheck, but how many can wait patiently in a checkout line in a crowded supermarket? How many people can stand and wait quietly for an overdue train on a railroad platform? It's as though there are two kinds of patience. The kind that sets you up for the long term and gives you the promise of a better and richer day after tomorrow. Then there's the other kind, the sort of patience that helps you remain sane and sociable while you're waiting in line or watching the clock or waiting for a pot of water to boil. These kinds of patience, so different and yet so much the same, meld into your character and have a fundamental effect on your physical constitution. Any doctor will tell you that it's better for you and everyone around you if you don't get exasperated with little things, if you don't fly off the handle at every annoyance and stick in your way. It keeps your blood pressure down and your friends and neighbors happy if you can greet life's little problems with equanimity and patience, because almost all problems can be solved if only you take the time to see them and think them through. That's very easy to understand and it's very easy to say, but it takes strong character to put it into practice. I'm never sure what to think when people say, I want to make $1 million by the time I'm 40, or I want to retire by the age of 45. This combination of goals plus deadlines strikes me as short-sighted and maybe even a bit naive. It takes a worthwhile goal and subjects it to an imposed timetable. While you might have an idea of what $1 million would mean to you, or you might have really exciting plans for your life after you hang up the tie and business suit, I don't see how a person can reasonably expect to know who or what he will be or think or feel at some arbitrary moment in the future. This kind of thinking misses the whole point of success. The real payoff in financial and worldly success isn't the result of an amount of money divided by the age you are when you get it, or some other actuarial formula, The real payoff is found in the qualities of character you develop along the way.
Someone may have done you wrong, but you can't stay in yesterday and enjoy today. You have to forgive, show mercy, and move forward. I know there are real issues, but living in strife, holding grudges, not forgiving, that's keeping you from the new things God has in store. Learn to enjoy where you are while you're on the way to where you're going. Life is not about the destination, it's about the journey. That's where you'll see fulfillment, the favor of God. Because after you reach this goal, there'll be another goal. If we're not careful, we'll rush through the day trying to get to the destination. Slow down and enjoy the journey. Yes, there will be bumps in the road, things you don't understand. That's where you have to say, I'm not looking back. I'm not going to live worried, wondering how it's going to work out. I'm going to enjoy where God has me right now, knowing that He will get me to where I'm supposed to be. But Joel, I'm worried because I don't see how my situation could ever work out. You're not supposed to. You have to trust that God is in control, that He's planned out all of your days, that He knows what's best for you. Instead of fighting where you are, learn to embrace where you are. I don't want you to get 10 years down the road and think, man, if I'd known it's going to turn out this good, I would have enjoyed my life. I would have enjoyed raising my children. I talked to a lady. She had worked as an executive for this large company. She had been there 19 years when she was unexpectedly let go. She was disappointed, but she knew something else would open up. She has 2 master's degrees, a leader in her field. She applied to company after company, but no response. No one was interested. A couple of months after she lost her job, her mother became ill, needed someone to take care of her. Every day she would go to her mother's house. They would visit and run errands. She had so much fun with her mother. 10 months later, her mother passed. 3 days after she laid her mother to rest, she started getting one phone call after another. Not one offer, but 4 great offers came in. She accepted a position with more income, better environment. Look at how God works. That closed door, that doesn't make sense. She could have been sour, lived upset, why is this happening? But she made this choice to not live in the past, to not live in the future. Why won't anything open up? What if I can't find a job? Instead, she took that time to enjoy where God had her. She embraced where she was, believing that God was directing her steps. Had she not done that, she would have missed that time with her mother. Don't fight where you are, embrace where you are. Make the most of each day. Yes, she was disappointed that she was let go, but don't let the past keep you from seeing the good things in your life right now.
If you're going through something really difficult right now, you've been having to stand strong for a long time, and you just got this thinking, I can't do it, it's too much. You're just the person that I'm speaking to today, because God wants you to know, and He wants you to begin to think, I can do whatever I need to do, and I am stronger than I think I am.
Everything worthwhile is uphill. All the way, not partially uphill. And the challenge that we all have is we don't mind climbing uphill for 3 or 4 days, as long as we can coast for a couple.
Everything that's happening to you is God is processing you. Every difficult moment you're having, He just processing you. Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then He gonna toughen you.
I don't have to accept someone's opinion. I don't have to accept someone's judgment. I don't have to accept someone's action. I don't have to accept it. And the more that you don't know who you are, the more that you don't tap into guarding your heart, because you're letting people stump on your heart, you're letting people take advantage of your life, the more you're doing that, then you're not going to have confidence in yourself, and you're going to believe the lies that people have told you.
Whatever threatens you, threaten it back. Whatever threatens your opportunity, threaten it back. Now, some of our enemies are on the outside, but here's the most important thing to understand. Some of our enemies are on the inside. Whatever threatens you, I'm asking you to threaten it back. Take care of your responsibility. Somebody wants to destroy your chances for a good future by their negative talk, negative thinking, putting it all down. I'm telling you, walk away if you have to. Walk away.
And you should understand this, that it was always going to be your family and your friends that would be the first ones to try and talk you out of your vision and your big idea. That's why you're supposed to live your life, focus on your intentions and do your thing.
Knowing who you are, that will determine how you behave. When you know who you are, accept who you are, then that's going to determine what you do. When you allow your behavior to confuse your identity, then that's called an identity crisis. And the way that happens is you allow your behavior to determine who you are, and your behavior should not determine who you are. You cannot continue to look at what you do and conclude that what you do defines who you are.
Becoming is not about arrival, it's about the journey. We're committing to the journey. We're committing to the process. In fact, you won't get there until you die.
There are moments that try the human soul so violently that if the truth were told, all of us have had moments that we wanted to throw up our hands and walk away.
Because I believe that, what that tells me is that while I'm becoming, I'm gonna face problems. Did you know it's totally possible to be struggling and becoming at the same time? Some of you in this room, you're struggling, but just because you're struggling hasn't stopped you from becoming. Our problems do not overshadow our purpose. Our weaknesses do not discount our work, and our deficiencies definitely do not delay our destiny. We have to learn how to work our weakness. Someone say, work your weakness.
Now, obviously, we can't just do anything that we want to do because we decide to think that we can. But anything that God wants us to do, anything that's His will for us, any assignment that we have from Him, we can do whatever we need to do.
That's good news, because you might be in this room and you might be older in years and you might be thinking to yourself, man, my best days are behind me. But not true. If there is still air in your lungs, He is not done developing you. He is not done transforming you. You are still becoming.
Always something there to build a case on why you can't move on, why you can't grow to the next level, why you can't begin to manifest your greatness. Always something there to block you, to keep you where you are, and keep you from beginning to develop your true greatness. How do we handle it? If you've been using the fact that you don't have enough money or you don't have the education, take it head on. Go get the education.
These are philosophical statements, but they are very important. Leadership begins with your belief, and your belief system determines your philosophy of life.
Build your self-confidence, and the greater and greater your self-confidence get, it minimizes the impact self-doubt has on us. You weren't born doubting. You weren't born discouraged. You weren't born thinking negative things about yourself. As hard as this is to accept, these are not your thoughts. Those were thoughts that were placed in you and given to you by an external source at some time in your life. It could even be our parents. Maybe it was criticism you received as a little one that you may not even remember to this day.
That I've decided a long time ago that I didn't want to be another man who lived and died and didn't do anything significant. There's so many of y'all that are running around that are connecting whatever your concept of what life and love and happiness is to this thing. that doesn't exist. And so in your mind, you're not living until you get to that.
I know when you keep toxic things in your life, you're going to feel toxic. And some of us are wondering why we don't feel great. The longer you keep toxic things in your life, the longer you keep negativity in your life. I'm a firm believer in giving multiple chances. But after a while, you have to realize sometimes it's what you're choosing to accept, right? You know what it is. Some of us, we're so blind to what we want it to be that we keep seeing something for what it's not. We keep seeing a person for who they don't want to become.
I don't care what they just said to you. I don't care what the verdict is. I don't care what the haters say. Prayer changed things. You need God. Don't you think I got here without Him. I've needed Him every step of the way. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't even be standing here today. I'm telling you right now, you need God. Quit being ashamed about it and worrying about who looking. Go somewhere by yourself today and tell God you need some help.
They doubt the whole world is going to make it. But I'm asking you not to pick up all those doubts. I'm asking you to have some faith, have some courage, believe, drive your doubts into a small corner. Don't doubt the future. Don't doubt the extraordinary gifts that your distributors bring to your organization. Don't doubt that. Don't doubt the possibilities. And here's the most important one of all. Don't doubt yourself.
Your attitude is going to determine your altitude. It will determine how high or how low you go. Well, Joel, I've always been kind of negative. That's just who I am. No, that's who you're choosing to be. That's not who you are. That may be how you were raised, but that's not how you have to stay. Try being kind, friendly, good-natured. You'll not only enjoy life more, but you'll go further.
So you've got to decide, wait. Even if things don't work out, even if I experience defeat or failure, that does not make me a failure. It's a difference between failing and being a failure. If things don't work out, if you don't produce the results you want, that's all. But don't confuse who you are with the results that you produce.
It's impossible for you to have continuous success without having self-discipline in your life. And my greatest challenge as a leader is your greatest challenge as a leader. And that is, every day, keeping people climbing. Because they don't want to climb. They want to coast to success. They want it to come to them. And they just kind of hope that if they're at the right place at the right time, something wonderful will happen to them. It won't.
When you still carry your history, you are afraid of success because you may lose your friends who ain't going nowhere. Very subtle problems. Your attitude is so powerful, it creates your atmosphere. It also is a source of your natural lifestyle. And if you're going to change your life, you got to change your attitude. Now here's the bottom line. Your belief system is the source of your attitude.
I got better. I got better day by day and week by week and month by month, and I'm asking you to do the same thing until you can develop influence that won't quit. Touch people next year you couldn't touch this year. Heart and soul now mixed in there that wasn't there, missing before. I'm asking all of you to get better in spite of the winters, in spite of the downturn. Just get stronger. Get better. We've all got those personal winters.
Be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. People say, well, I was just thinking it. Well, you don't realize how important the thought is. The power of your mind, the power of your thoughts has tremendous ability to shape your life for good or for bad. And if you accept the thought, if growing up somebody said to you, you're worthless, you're no good, you don't matter. If you accepted that fact, whether it was right or wrong, it shaped your life.
Spring is not a guarantee of a harvest in the fall and the autumn harvest time. Here's what you must learn to do. Take advantage. Take advantage of the spring. Don't just be faked out by the spring because the nice weather has come and the winter's finally passed, the spring is here. I'm telling you, that's not going to do it for you. Just because the spring is here, it's not going to do it for you. You got to seize it with your own two hands. Opportunity mixed with challenge. It's opportunity mixed with difficulty. We've got a chance to grow like never before, but I'm telling you, there's going to be many enemies that's going to try to prevent us. As soon as you plant the garden, the busy bugs and the noxious weeds are out to take it, and you've got to learn not only to nourish your values, you've got to learn to do battle with your enemies.
Try and detach yourself before the gravity and the gravity of the emotions and the chaos builds up. If you can detach before that, then you don't have to break through it. You're already outside that realm. It's much easier.
A lot of bridges in our life, right? A lot of things in our life, a lot of people in our life. And sometimes it's family, sometimes it's friends, sometimes the people closest to you, sometimes it's strangers. But there are always people in our life that leads us back to something that's not good for our life. You had a lot of bridges, and sometimes that bridges you. Like, let's be real. But you had a lot of bridges in your life. Bridges mean connections and relationships that are leading you to a lesser you.
Be touched. Let life touch you. Don't let it kill you, but let it touch you. The problems that are out there, people struggling with their economy, struggling with their health, I'm asking you to let that get around your heart. Let it do something to you. Don't go untouched. Don't go unmoved. Take the walls down. Let yourself be touched by what's going on out there. The same wall that keeps out disappointment keeps out happiness and opportunity. Let sad things make you sad, as well as happy things make you happy. Let your heart get touched.
Credit goes to our awesome patrons who make videos like this one possible. Consider joining them to support our work. You can also support us by subscribing to our channel and clicking the bell button to get notified when our new videos are released. And as always, thank you for watching.
You can't be passive and indifferent. You have to have a holy determination. It's more than just your will.
However, when you get into a new comfort zone, it will be easier for you to practice the habit of self-discipline than it would be in the past for you to take the shortcut.
Sometimes the obstacles in front of you seem like they're too big and it's easier just to lay down. But you know what I remembered? I remember when my dad used to look at me when the kids said, listen, Nathan, life is never going to give you anything, but if you make it and if you build it, nobody can take it from you.
What we're doing and we enjoy. What we're doing and passion energizes. That's a person of passion, Osteen. I realize that I believe God spoke the word about being even more careful than ever about complaining. I don't consider myself to be a big complainer. Now I used to be that God just kept chipping away at it and chipping away at it and chipping away at it, and every time I started to get maybe a little bit loose and murmuring a little bit more.
It's a fire on the inside, a knowing that it's supposed to be yours. When everything says it's not going to happen, instead of getting discouraged, you kick in to a new gear. Normal people would give up. Normal people would settle, but you're not normal. You want it on another level. Many of the difficulties we face, the delays, the times it's not fair, that's simply a test. God is seeing how bad do you want it. This is what weeds people out. If you're overcome by problems, you let circumstances push you down, people talk you out of it, you're not going to have the strength or the courage to sustain where God is taking you.
Goethe, the German philosopher, once said that everything is hard before it's easy. Everything is hard before it's easy. So developing the habit of self-discipline is hard. And be patient with yourself, because you slip back all the time. All your life, you'll be slipping back. All your life, you have to fight this battle. You never get it to the point where it's locked in forever. Every morning you get up and that alarm goes off and you say, do I sleep a little longer or do I get up? You know, every time you look at a list of things to do, you say, do I start with the most important thing? As they say, do the worst first. Or do I do something that's fun and talk to a friend or make a phone call? You've got to fight this battle every single day. But every time you fight and win, you feel better about yourself.
You have to be like David. Don't have a weak mentality, have a warrior mentality. You have to be more determined than the opposition. If you give up every time things don't go your way, you didn't want it bad enough. You have to dig your heels in and say, I am in this for the long haul. I know what God has spoken to me. I will get well. I will accomplish my dream. I will meet the right person. You're not moved by what's not working out, by how long it's taking, or by who's not for you. You know who is for you.
And we can choose to surrender, or we can choose to take a stand and fight. And there are a lot of people who fight who are still here. There are people who fight and who go. But at least they go out fighting. They didn't just surrender. They didn't just throw in the towel on themselves. And I'm saying that there is something in us.
It only takes about 21 days, they say, to develop a new habit. So you can lock in the foundation of the habit simply by practicing self-discipline every single day without exception for 21 days. Now, some years ago, a businessman named Herbert Gray did a long-time study, it was kind of his project, to find out what he called the common denominator of success. What would be the common denominator of success? And he spent 11 years studying the literature, interviewing people, reflecting on it, and he finally wrote a little pamphlet. And the pamphlet has been handed around for years and years, and you don't need to get it because I'll tell you what's in it. He said the common denominator of success was quite simple. He said, successful people, he found, make a habit of doing what unsuccessful people don't like to do. And of course the logical question is, well, what is it that unsuccessful people don't like to do? Well, it turned out to be the same thing that successful people don't like to do either, but they do it anyway because they recognize that that's the price of success.
The times are tough for all of us, but we got to keep pushing forward. We must continue to fight the good fight. Do not feel that it's over. You've got a lot more work to do. Leave all of the distractions alone. Leave the naysayers alone. Because no matter how you look at it, those people that you feel that are against you, use it to your advantage. Let it be your fire. Let it be the ammunition you need to show them all that you've got something that they have never seen before.
Because hard work and tenacity and refusing to quit and chasing your dream, you'll get there, I promise you. Maybe you don't hit the stars, but you'll land on the moon. You just don't give up and you go after it and you stop caring about the opinions of people around you. Stop blaming everybody for your hurts. Take ownership of your life. Take off your mask. Don't feed the bear. Make good choices. Be a best friend. Encourage somebody. Be a voice of hope and inspiration. This is your moment.
Always remember this. Your past never has to be bigger than your future. Maybe we made some mistakes. Maybe we did some things that we're not proud of, but the great thing is that people can change.
Like before high school and in high school, to be in Ivy League schools and to get 4.0, they're not having any fun and they're not experiencing life and they don't have any hope and their parents are all on pills and they're just killing themselves. For some people out there that aren't feeling good, you get over that struggle, you feel better. It sounds so simplistic, but I swear by it. I've felt shitty myself and then forced myself to work out. And after I get out of there, I'm like, it's hard for people to break momentum too. Momentum that's good momentum or momentum that's bad momentum. When I get on a good groove of working out all the time, I feel it. Like after I'm done working out, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to get in there again. I can't wait to work out again. That's the good momentum. But then there's that bad momentum, like you get injured or something like that and you can't do anything for a couple of weeks. And then to try to get that kickstart that motor up again.
You may fall a few times, you may slip a few times, but that doesn't mean you quit. That doesn't mean you give up. That means you must find a way, and you must make a win. You got to continue to dig deeper than you ever did in your life. Enough is enough. Enough with the excuses, enough for being complacent, enough for giving up. This is the time to recognize your purpose. This is the time for you to recognize your truth and make the most of your life. And if you're not willing to do that, then nothing's going to happen for you. Nothing is going to give you that true opportunity to be the best of yourself. This is not a game, ladies and gentlemen. This is a reality check. Ask yourself, how far have you gone? How much have you given up yourself? Why do you wake up every morning with the same excuse? Why do you wake up every morning saying the same thing over and over again? Why do you feel you need that cup of coffee to start your day? Why do you feel you need to depend on your alarm clock to get up? All you got to do is just get up. All you got to do is recognize exactly what it is that you need to do in your life now. This is the time you need to make up. This is the time you need to realize this. It's the time you need to do the best that you can. And give 110% of everything you got. How many hours do you put into your craft? How much work? Are you putting into your ideas how many times? Have you taken so many breaks that it pushed you back instead of pushing you forward? How much suffering have you put into your craft? How much suffering are you willing to endure for success?
It's hard to get momentum. There's a lot of people that are eating shit food, and then by the end of the day, your body's in a crisis. Your body's just processing all this bullshit. And if you're eating a big, bullshit lunch filled with nonsense, your body's got to process all that stuff. And so at the end of the day, yeah, you're going to lose your willpower. So when 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock rolls around, you're going to be tired. But if you have a healthy lunch and you're properly fueled, and then you also have positive people in your life, everyone's motivated, by the end of the day, you're going to feel good. Just force yourself to do it. And if you feel like shit because you ate lunch, then your lunch was, filled with bullshit, well then, hey dummy, don't eat shitty lunch tomorrow. Tomorrow try a nice salad. Try a salad with some salmon and see how you feel then. You're like, hey, I feel way better today at 6 o'clock. Duh. Now your decision making will be better. People don't understand how significant it is. All these little decisions, that's the path for the rest of your existence on earth.
If you had a goal you chased, that goal you accomplished, some things you would get. This boost of confidence, you get this boost of self-esteem, whatever it is that you're going to, maybe you're drawing comic books, maybe you're into it. But making pottery or sculptures, but find whatever that is and pursue that. Nothing can resist a human will that will stake its existence on its purpose. Shortly put, I'll do it or die.